Tobias, thank you very much for being here today. It's a pleasure talking to you. Can we start by understanding a little bit more about Choice Hotels? What are you guys up to?
Sure. Choice Hotels is one of the largest hotel brands in the world with over 7,500 hotels globally. Very heavy focus on the US. That's obviously where our roots are from over 85 years ago. Um, but we are also very strong in the international division, meaning outside of the US, Asia Pacific, South America, and EMEA especially. In EMEA, we have 400 hotels, close to 60,000 rooms. Very strong in the Scandinavian markets. Um, and as an organization, given our growth or our size in the US market, which is very substantial with over 6,500 rooms, we're very focused. The organization is very focused on growth internationally. That's also where we put a lot of our resources from a company or enterprise perspective at the moment.
And where do you see the biggest growth coming from? Is there any specific region or?
At the moment, actually, we see the biggest pipeline out of EMEA, followed by South America. South America is a little bit driven by the a vicinity or proximity to the US market and the demand that's coming out of the US into South America, but also driven by the acquisition of the Radisson brands 2 years ago in the Americas market. Which we have relaunched recently. So we're able to drive more development and drive more pipeline through those brands in South America. EMEA has a very strong growth pipeline, and Asia Pacific is growing as well.
After COVID, the turbulence that we all felt, Choice Hotels, you guys have been doing very well. Can you give us some numbers so our public can understand your numbers at the moment in terms of growth and what you're expecting for the next 12 months?
We posted a record EBITDA profit for the quarter. Our pipeline is at record levels. I believe we have over 100,000 rooms in the pipeline, globally speaking. In EMEA, we are looking at a pipeline of around 10,000 to 15,000 rooms over the next 2 to 3 years. That is in various stages.
Right.
Obviously, it's a moving market. Our ambition for Europe in particular is that we get to close to doubling the portfolio.
Wow.
Um, Very strong ambition. The the enterprise, as I said before, is very focused on driving growth in the international markets and putting a lot of resources behind that. So we're not just looking from growing our existing brands, but we're also looking at how can we grow through acquisitions, brands. How can we grow with for choice unconventional matters. Our balance sheet is extremely strong. We have a very good liquidity of over 600 million that we can deploy in the market.
If you have a hotel owner or a hotel chain there watching this interview, what's the right profile? What's the kind of deal you're looking for? Is there any specific kind of deal? Is there a region that you are favoring? Can you tell us more?
Western Europe is our core market. That's where we have the presence. We know the markets. We have the existing portfolios. So obviously we feel comfortable with them. We're actually seeing quite a lot of activity in Eastern and Southeastern Europe at the moment. So that and as I was mentioned before, in other areas is coming back. The types of deals that we want to see is, if you ask me, ideal world, I would like to have a nicely big portfolio that is franchise only, where I can buy the brand that is a modern brand that fits into, complements our existing brands, doesn't overlap with them too much. But I know that's a difficult proposition in the market. The kind of partners that we are looking for is regional brands where we can see the potential of helping the current owners grow maybe outside of their home markets. We see potential for that brand to deliver it outside of their home market, not just in EMEA. Like, we want to look at a global expansion of a brand, and where we can find a model that helps put capital into the brand, helps us grow it internationally, and supports the current owners probably to stay even in the business, continue to operating those brands. In some markets, we would look at exclusivity with them.
A final question. Is there anything you see happening in the market, in the hospitality industry, that nobody's talking about and everybody should pay attention to? Anything that would would come to your mind uh, in this sense?
For us, it's yes, we look at buying brands, but we look to strengthen our existing brands. So if we have an opportunity to get a buy a regional brand, but we think they could do better with our existing brands, we would look to buy the brand as a way to put our own brands on there, for example. Um, it always depends whether we see value, where we see equity, long-term equity in the brand itself. There needs to be a little bit of consolidation in the branding market to streamline things and make it a little bit more recognizable.
Sounds right to me. Tobias, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for having me.